Okay, maybe or maybe not, we might get to see some rainbows or reflections of prisms on the wall, faceted crystals. So that's why the widescreen and the little bitty head here, so we can see that. Everybody drop into heart. I'm sensing you there. And let's talk some more about heart perception, what that's like. You know how they say we project out on the world, we project our own issues, our own problems on others? Or another way to say it is, it's so easy to see and analyze a problem in someone else. If we try to analyze the same thing within ourselves, we're not often as successful as we might be when we see it in another. So we do a lot of projecting. My suggestion to you is that mind does that. And so heart is another experience entirely. Now, one thing we're exposed to within heart is we don't have all the little mind defenses that we've built up, all the little thoughts, attitudes, ideas, the way we pigeonhole and cubbyhole things. You'll get a look at yourself. You'll see self in action in a non-judgmental way, but you'll really be able to get a good look, a new look at you. And you won't like everything you see either. Okay? I mean, that goes without saying, right? I don't think any of us are yet claiming to be saints. On the one hand, we have this ultimate, eternal, actually divine perfection that is us. And that's correct. That's true. But that's not a 3D thing. I mean, not 3D only. This isn't the level where we're fully manifesting that, or even fully in contact with it. You've got the best shot at that through heart, but truth reigns there, and you don't get away with anything less than what is. What you see when you're centered in heart, and to be centered in heart means you're also centered in the now, in the here and now. Time-space is a fabric, and the XY grid of it is time and space. It isn't something that can be separated out the way people do. Stay in heart. That's like we separate out what we see from what we hear. But really, those two sense organs are perceiving the same thing. They have different perspectives on the same thing. We know that a note produces a sound and produces a color. So color is vision, and the note is oral or audible. And so we don't realize we're seeing/hearing the same thing. The colors that you see on the wall there, they're singing. Now, it's not a 3D thing, and you're not going to hear it with your 3D ears. But even just from what science has shown us, you know that a note equals a color. And if you don't, go look it up. Okay? Startpage.com or Scroogle it. I don't support Google. I don't like their lack of ethics. Okay, so we're in heart. Keep just dropping down in. Oops, better turn the internet off. That's my notification that I got an email. I have it set for the set of sounds that goes with the beach. I like that. So we're in heart and we're perceiving from there. And truth, like we've never known it, is available to us within. We enter into almost a whole different body, in a way, a whole different set of senses and abilities. And once again, I don't have a lot of concepts around this. These are things that, well, I haven't shared before. I'm just putting them down here, kind of for the first time. I'm exploring them with you. My desire, of course, to support you in your desire to go within. And to take up your stance there and begin perceiving. And the way we do that is not an active thing. It's a passive thing. It's watch and observe. And the more we can do that, you'll be guided, you'll be led. I'm not saying your inner world is peopled with all kinds of beings. I'm clueless about that. I don't see beings everywhere, okay? What I have is sensings, not seeings. So I don't yet have direct clairvoyance or clairaudience. It'll peek in now and again, but it's not my regular fare. So be aware of that when I'm talking to you. If my words are painting pictures, realize it's coming more from a sensing perspective than a seeing perspective, or maybe my words would be clearer. I don't know. Okay, so you're watching and your attention is turned inward. For the most part, when you're doing this, your meditation is just to be silent and to be still. And close your eyes if you like, to have them open sometimes isn't helpful because it tends to anchor you to 3D through your beliefs. We have all sets of beliefs built up around what we see. We think everything is solid. We've just swallowed all this stuff, hook, line, and sinker, that's not necessarily real. But based on our belief, we bring forth a certain measure of reality such that when two cars collide, you can very well lose your incarnation. That's fairly real on that level. So the world is unreal and real at the same time, and it pays to be in a state of balance about that. So you're watching yourself. Now, aside from just sitting, which is good, you can take your practice into, let's say, doing your email, and you're going through your inbox, and people will say different things to you. And as you keep to center, you can witness yourself and your internal reaction, your responses to things. And you'll see more clearly from within heart. So sometimes you'll want to reach out and correct yourself, inform yourself, raise yourself up a little bit, something like that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just watch and keep watching. There's some kind of a saying somewhere, don't move until an elephant steps on your foot or something like that. Just be still and watch. What will happen as you do this is that you will receive an internal sort of teaching, understanding. You'll see deeper into things. And it's neat. But you're shifting here. And if you're doing any kind of a doing, that wanting to reach out and correct, that's the mind at work. And if you slip off into that, you're going to find yourself outside of heart. So the price of the ticket to get in there and stay in there is to watch and observe thought, but not to participate with it. Just watch it. Watch yourself as you're reading, as you're writing your responses. If you're watching a video, watch yourself watching the video. See what you see. Do what you can to keep your focus within and not dive too deeply into what is seen. Or again, you'll leave heart center. That's called being identified with it. And so you're watching. And you're watching. And you're remembering not to judge, because every time you slip off into judgment, i.e., that's a good thing, that's a bad thing, and so on, you find yourself more in your head again. And so we keep coming back, dropping down. Because we're stubborn. We're determined. We are determined. We've had it with the way things are. We know that doesn't work. And maybe until we've reached that point, we can't do this. It won't work for us. Because you have to have a real steely kind of determination. All right, so you're staying within and you're staying within and you're just watching. Now, what I noticed start to happen is, oh Lord, give me the words. I guess the elephant would step on my foot, because what I would find is that while I was watching, I would notice that I was also speaking and doing, only it wasn't like I was doing it. I was watching it happen. It was like I was being done. I wasn't the doer. I was the doing. And I also noticed when this would happen that I was coming from a pretty high place. It felt good. Now, sometimes it wouldn't. But it was as if there was a force there that was acting. And again, I wasn't the dancer. I was the dance. I was being danced. But I would always find out, no matter what kind of self-doubts might come up, what kind of old programming would come up and slap me around and say, boy, you were just rude to that guy, or whatever. You know, I would find myself acting out of character, acting in ways that I wasn't accustomed to. I'm not talking possession here, folks, okay? It's nothing like that. Much more subtle and from heart center. There's nothing to fear here. So I would find that eventually I came to understand that was Source acting through me. Just like when I journal, that's not the me that you see here doing that. That comes from a deeper space. And so this is what watch and observe can bring you. It brings you to the shift from the head to the heart. And I think this is a big part of the shift that's going on in the world consciousness right now. And not just Earth, not just the USA or this planet, at least the solar system, if not the galaxy. Stuff's going on a wider basis than we can yet see. But again, I find the more that I stay in heart, and in order to do this, you've got to be very cautious in how much time you spend with the media and in what you're viewing, because that will daze you and drug you and take you out from center. A little recreation is fine, you know. You don't need to be a robot. You don't need to should on yourself. So do what you feel like without editing, and watch and observe as much as you can. Stay centered though, and see how that helps you make a shift. And it's a big one. It's a really big one, because this is a whole new world and way of perception. It literally opens up the cosmos. It's like diving into the fractal, into the pond there, and suddenly spreading out into all of it, finding that you can perceive it all and you can access it all from this magical portal within. I don't presume to be enlightened or awakened or some great guru or teacher who knows a bunch of answers. I'll let you know when and if I ever have one of those experiences. See, I haven't even had some great awakening experience, the kind that Adyashanti and so many people will talk about having, where I have my own kind of thing that happens to me, but I'm just one of the gang. The thing is, though, we all are. It's not in us that the magic abides or resides. It's within. It's within. And everybody has that. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter. You don't have to attain some level of perfection. That really is within and accessible. Okay, have I said it all? I guess I have. I'm not hearing anything else. See you again soon. And we did get some rainbows.